walking into a sea, but it's not water you're afraid of drowning in. It's something invisible, but radiant. It burns everything in it, but no, I can feel them. There's people calling out to something, chanting. They can show you the way, but they're so hard to read. Be careful around them, kid.
My next move was already laid out in front of me. At some point I would need the help of the railroad. Getting myself in their ranks would prove important.
The complex. Synths everywhere.
Carrying you the whole time?
Amazing, right?
That's one word for it. Deacon told me you single-handedly secured Carrington's prototype, disabled a minefield, and wiped out 100 Gen 1s. So is any of that true?
Mostly true, but there weren't 100 of them. And Deacon was with me the whole way.
Embellishing the truth again, are we?
She would have fallen for it, you know?
Don't flatter yourself. Still, I was expecting Deacon to grab a full team, including Glory, to secure that prototype. But instead, just the two of you cleared out the entire switchboard.
You'd be insane not to sign him up, Des.
You've certainly made an impression on Deacon. He's never spoken about, or lied about, anyone so highly before. Welcome to the Railroad, Agent.
Glad to be aboard.
It seems we're very lucky to have you. So you're in. Now we need to know what to call you. Secrecy keeps us alive. Code names are a part of that. So what's yours?
Call me Fixer.
Fixer certainly seems an apt name. Your first official order is to deliver Dr. Carrington his prototype and see if he can use another pair of hands. But first, it's time to meet the rest of the gang. The location of our HQ is one of our most tightly guarded secrets.
Deacon had been a great help getting me into the railroad, and I would never forget that. And even though they were unable to get me into the glowing sea, they would prove to be important very soon. Their base of operations was not exactly as I was expecting, but this was an organization in recovery.
Listen up, everyone. This is Fixer. He did the switchboard op with Deacon. He's a full agent, effective immediately. I'm counting on each of you to show him the ropes. Feel free to welcome him aboard. That is all. It's not an easy road you've chosen, but you're never alone in this.
I was now a member of the railroad. These people needed my help as much as I would need theirs.
Ah, it's our newest agent.
Desdemona told me to give you this.
An extraordinary feat to recover this, but that's hardly the point. Without a lick of training, and us knowing hardly anything about you, Des has invited you to join HQ. It would have been nice if she had consulted with her second-in-command. But what's done is done. Since you're here now, we might as well put you to work.
Tell me what you need, Doc.
One of our field agents, Old Man Stockton, needs help with the runaway synth, H222. So headquarters, as always, puts out the fires that others can't be bothered to put out themselves. Paranoid old bat won't even tell us the problem. He insists that we get our intel from a dead drop.
What's a dead drop?
Never read a spy novel, huh?
Oh dear lord. A dead drop is a mailbox with a rail sign on it. It's a common means of communication for us, so keep an eye out for them. When you make contact with Stockton, he won't give you the time of day unless you give him the proper countersign. The current sign is, do you have a Geiger counter? And the counter is, mine is in the shop. Please tell me Deacon taught you that at least.
He taught me what I need to know, including that.
It appears our resident pathological liar didn't completely neglect your training. Stockton is a prominent businessman at Bunker Hill. The dead drop will be near there. Use the escape tunnel in the back to get there quicker.
And then I got to meet Tinker Tom. He was as mad as he was important to the railroad, and to me.
The census sweep says you're clean. Hooray! We're bug-free.
I'm relieved, actually.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Not so fast. Okay, have you eaten anything out there? Because if you have, they got you.
Yeah, I've eaten food.
Oh, I knew it. The Institute has these tiny microscopic robots in the food, man. And they report back.
Tom, that's rubbish.
You just don't get it, Carrington. The Institute is in your blood.
That's a lot to process.
Please, don't believe a word of this bollocks.
Okay, okay. If you really want to be safe, let me give you a little shot. There's the motor. Says no one has to, but it will kill those little robots.
There's battery acid in that serum of yours.
You can't nuke an omelet without irradiating some eggs. You ready to shoot up?
What's in the shot?
We've got algae, some yummy bacteria culture, and just a little bit of battery acid. But we gotta burn those babies out of you. It's a hard reboot of your system, man.
I don't know.
Fine. Let them hear and see everything. Okay, okay. I hope you like your whole life being downloaded to the Institute's mainframe.
Do you have any proof?
Proof? You and Carrie. Peas in a pod. Hey, I gotta get back to making gadgets. Don't let your guard down out there.
I needed to gain their trust completely before they would help me find Shaun and the Institute. If I had more time now, I would help them, but I knew the whereabouts of Virgil, and I did not know how long he would stay in the glowing sea.
Hell yeah.
The secret back door to the railroad HQ was just as well hidden as the front. No zombies to fight through, just a filth-ridden sewer full of dirty water to wade through.
I don't sleep or eat or anything like that. But if you need to, you do it.
It was now light, yet another day gone that I could have used getting to Virgil. But Deacon had needed my help, and now he owed me a favour, one that I would use very soon. But I could not lose any more time getting to Virgil. I almost had a complete set of armour back at Sanctuary. I would have to make do with that and patch it up as much as I could, and then start heading south to the glowing sea. But I was in an unexplored part of Boston. Getting home would not be easy. This was Raider territory, and that explosion had just advertised our presence in the area. Sanctuary was over a day's travel away. We had to make it to a safe area before dark, but around every corner we turned we just revealed more raiders.
What's that?
Come on out.
I don't think we're alone. What's that? I don't think we're alone.
Another raider encampment was taken care of, but this was slow progress, and we were still in a part of the city we did not know. We had to take some risks and try out some shortcuts. Normally an underpass under the road, dark and full of water, would be somewhere we avoided, but it would have taken hours to walk around. It proved a good risk to take, no raiders and no zombies. And at least an hour off our journey time. But it was starting to get late. Night had set in, but we had done it. We'd made it to more familiar surroundings, and I was once again in the shadow of Corvega. The last time I was here, I was fighting for my life, trying to escape. That seems so long ago, and so many things have changed since then. I had very few friends to call upon for help. I do not have that problem now. We had made it to the train lines. It was dark, but I could see some train cars ahead. Something told me to investigate. And there it was, the power armor I needed. A full set, but without the helmet. But I had one of them back at Sanctuary. That was it. I now had the means to make it through the glowing sea. I had gathered many fusion cores to power the suit. I just needed to get it out. And that was simple once I hacked the terminal. The suit was not in great condition, but with the other set I had, I would be able to use one to repair the other. The power armor had not been used since before the war. It was not in great shape, and was not airtight even if I did have the helmet. I would have to do my best at patching every hole. We had made it back to Concord. It had been weeks since I was last here. This place was quiet now. The last time I had found some power armor, I had defeated a Deathclaw on this very street. I was back home. I wish I had time to relax, to talk to my friends and catch up on what had been happening. But every day I didn't head south into the glowing sea, I was risking being too late in finding Virgil. Exactly how long would someone risk staying somewhere so dangerous? I needed sleep badly and collapsed on my bed. When I woke, it was morning. Me and Sturgis had a full day's work getting the armor ready for the trip into the glowing sea. It was not perfect, but it should get me there and back, as long as I avoided too much combat. This thing was falling apart. If it took too much damage, it might start to leak and let in radiation.
Don't let all that horsepower go to your head.
They didn't tell me.
I did not know what to expect when I got into the glowing sea. I was still to meet anyone who had even been there. That could not be a good sign. It was a sign that people do not return from that place. But was it because of the radiation? If so, that should be okay. But if no one had returned because of the monsters in the glowing sea, then I could be in some trouble. We had not made it too far before coming across another monster, a creature that was once a crab. It had a thick shell that deflected everything I threw at it, but its underbelly was soft. And the thing fell back into the water it came from. We once again set out on our journey south. The glowing sea was still a long way from here. It was not only creatures we found on our journey. I'd started taking damage before we even got to the glowing sea. I had to be more careful. The armor was holding up for now, but a single hole would put this trip at risk, and we still had a long way to go. The landscape was changing. It was becoming very rocky and uneven, and the fog was making it hard work to move at speed. The air was filled with a roar. I had once heard this roar before. It was a death claw. But the roar was not meant for us, and it went running up the hill. I hoped we would be able to avoid it, and we continued into the fog. The Deathclaw was not interested in us, because it had found something bigger to fight. A giant mutant abomination was over the other side of the power plant. We decided to move away from here as fast as we could. Any one of those things would rip us apart in no time. Another Deathclaw. Another sign we should keep moving. We had entered the outskirts of the glowing sea, and the weather changed, and the rads started. The power armor was holding up, but the amount of rads in the area was amazing. And even with the armor, some radiation was getting through. I had to take some radics to try and protect me even more. This was like nowhere I had ever been. This was like another planet, like one of those worlds from the comics I read as a boy. But there were signs of what this place was before the bombs, and it was a shocking reminder of all the people that would have been here at the time. The ones that were not lucky enough to have a vault to hide in and escape their terrible fate. I did not think this place would ever be safe for humans again, but even if it was, why would anybody want to come here? This was hell on Earth. A barren wasteland. Everything about this place was set to kill anybody who dares enter. Another giant scorpion in the distance. We tried our best to move around it, but it already knew we were there. The thing died, and the heat of the laser rifle melted the beast into the ground. This glowing sea was the worst place I could ever imagine. Looking back at that very moment now, I could see how little I knew about the true horrors in that area. Because you see, I had not even entered the glowing sea yet. Things were far, far worse the further south we got, and once I entered the glowing sea, I would know real horror. Thank you all for watching my tale. Please like if you did and subscribe to never miss a video. Please comment below or on Facebook or Twitter with all the links in the description. I'm Shaun, Insane in the Game, and this was Fallout 4, and I hope to see you all soon in the safe zone.